Alright, everybody, welcome back to the Bitless Horse Project. Now, this is our 17th ride. I understand that it has been a long time since then. We have had some challenges, namely there was a bit of an autoimmune issue with Revan here, and everything that touched his skin, he just could not stand. Like, it drove him nuts. He was overly itchy and could not handle even a halter on his face without having a huge problem. And when he was in a stall, he would just bump up against all of the walls of the stall trying to itch himself desperately. But we have figured out a way to treat it, and he is successfully on a supplement that helps 100% of it. So he's back, we're back, and I am excited to start training him. Now we have a different plan, a better plan for 2025 Bitless Horse Project. We are going to be going from green to first level dressage. Yes, you can tell me that I'm crazy. Yes, you can tell me that it is impossible. We are going to try it anyway. I have a program and I want to see if it works. So we're in our trusty bareback pad that I have created or made. He is green because this is literally like the second ride that we've had that he has understood what a trot transition is. And I apologize for the lack of structure in this particular video. We were going through a lot of different random things in trying to get footage for the other educational videos. So this is just like let's see what we can do, let's do some trot transitions. Revan decided to do more trot transitions than I anticipated, but that's okay. He is green and young. And we did a bunch of other things. There are some places in this video where I get a little off balance on purpose for the sake of those educational videos. So we'll see. But right now he is a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. I always get a little nervous on green horses, because they tend to be kind of unpredictable. He is slightly unpredictable. I'm trying to keep everything nice and loose, and, including the rain. His trot transition is very intense, and I'm trying to make him not run over the camera right now. So, but here we are attempting to move forward at the walk. The thing with him is I teach all of the horses I train to be highly sensitive to my pelvic angle, and and my the angle of my thigh or femur, basically, and whether it's rolling in or rolling out. And here we go with the grass. Yep, there we go. So if my femur rolls out and my leg rolls out, I'm trying to get him not to pay attention to the grass too much. That's when he's supposed to move forward. And that becomes highly important when it comes to extensions later. But he is sensitive to the point where any time that I try to correct my femur, if it's rolled forward, he will move forward at the trot. But we will get there. It's okay. It's only the second trot ride ever. And if I pitch my pelvis forward too much, like if I pitch myself forward and my pelvis goes forward too much, he will stop and reverse. And if I pitch myself back too much, you know what? I don't think I've done that, and I don't want to know what would happen. I think he'll just go faster, or he'll stop. Either one will probably happen. But yeah, whenever I rolled my leg back to try to get into a better position, he'd trot forward. But since it is fairly close to what I want, and we are not doing a refining thing today, we are doing a just straight up obedience thing today, I decided to reward him whenever he did do that, because we will take that and we will run with it later. And yes, I know he looks like he is sensitive to the sun. Yes, he is sensitive to the sun, but let me tell you, and I will admit, pulling the head up is not something that I do on a regular with knowledgeable horses. Please don't crucify me for that. But with young horses where we have only been doing anything with their head and everything on their body has been very light taps. I will, and a green horse, I opt to try to pull the head up. And this is granted, they don't have a bit in their mouth. This is one of the reasons why I do bitless at first, because it's a little bit easier to kind of, you know, be a little bit less precise. But yeah, I mean, he's he's doing that. I promise you, I do not have that much tension on the reins. He's doing this because I do not want him to go trotting off, because at this point, he felt like, because he is lifting his thoracic sling very well, and I promise you, he has a 2-inch lift on his sling in the front. He will measure 14.3 prior to a workout, and he will measure 15.1 after a workout. So he's got a lot of lift, and he's got a lot of carry power. And so he felt like he was just about ready to go into a canter at any moment within that trot. And believe me, when I'm trying to demonstrate imbalance with imbalance and he wants to go to a canter, that is not a good combo. And I would give him a longer rein if I knew that he wouldn't have the great temptation to just start digging a hole and eating the grass. He is young, he is young, he is inexperienced, and he is demanding, so hence why. But here we are anyway, and one of the reasons, of the many, why I am riding in a bareback pad is for my own workout. You know, for my own position, because it's been a while and I need some extra work in, and the bareback pad is perfect. It forces me to be in a good position, and there we go. But yeah, it forces me to be in a good position because I don't have stirrups to rely on. I don't have a cantle or knee rolls to lean up against. I only have my own pelvic balance or nothing. You know, it's this or bust. Balance or bust. And in this, whenever I do these trot transitions, I am holding on a little bit of his hair because my abs are not as strong as they should be. And believe you me, I am working on that with a good Pilates routine. 37, and back in the day when I was in my 20s, sure, I was way stronger. Now, not so much. There we go. Nice stretch without eating. But we're doing the walk haul transitions. But, yep, here we are. And like I said, this is the last episode, I believe, was the 14th ride that he has had. 14th or 15th, and this is the 17th. So, give us a little grace, give him a little grace. I do plan on using this bareback pad through this year and then purchasing a saddle for 2026, mostly because I need to correct my balance in all gaits. I want to be in a great, the perfect position, and I need to challenge myself to essentially get the muscles to be able to do it too. So, upright, in a bareback pad with no cantle or knee blocks or stirrups, you are forced to be upright in a neutral pelvic position. You could fall forward or back in your pelvis, but you will have serious balance problems, I assure you. And if you start bouncing on the saddle, there's nothing to save you from bouncing right off the side. So, but he is doing somewhat well. He is marching forward. This is his own pace, and you know what? His trot isn't bad. His trot is actually quite good. The first trot that we ever did, in Ride 16, he stretched forward down. It was wonderful. I think my own tensions here and trying to focus on three different things. A, making sure he doesn't run towards the camera. B, trying to get done what I need to get done for my educational videos. And C, reining him in, you know, from the rando things that he does. Usually I just ride along with rando things for green horses. But we had a mission here and I'm like, man. But that was not a bad trot. I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it a working trot. I would just call it a green trot, because it's not stretching, it's not working, it's not medium, and it certainly is not collected. But you see me feeding him treats here. I'm feeding him treats for good trot transitions. And there he goes. Good trot transitions, because that is the thing that we are working on. That is the new thing. Notice, I am not rewarding him every time I ask for a walk transition, or a halt, or a reverse. Because we're past that already. So R plus R minus training does that. It said, in appropriate time, during appropriate times, we kind of take off the reward, or take out the reward, but we only take out the reward when the motivation for doing the thing becomes intrinsic. So and there he goes. So the treats are extrinsic motivation. I'm trying to correct my seat. Extrinsic motivation, and intrinsic motivation means they do it because it feels good, or it just makes sense. So he is intrinsically motivated to move forward at the walk because he wants to trot, because he wants to get that motivation. So I no longer have to use oh gosh, him. I no longer have to use a treat for just walk transition. Now it's just for the trot transition. When we get to the canter in May, hopefully in May, I will not have to. Oh dear. Yep, we had to move the camera. Thankfully I had a camera person. But I will no longer have to use the treat for the trot transition. I will use the treat for the canter transition. And so on and so forth. So it's just these little things. So right now I'm rewarding for transitions that feel good, that were actually requested by the change in my leg, and not just because he wanted to. Yep, there he's calming down now. Took him 14 minutes, but he calmed down. Now we're trying to reverse. Not bad. I'm not concerned with the frame. Right now I'm concerned with whether or not he's lifting his thoracic sling. And because of the bareback pad, I can feel it when he is lifted and when he's using his body correctly. He thinks he needs a treat. Yep, and there's a turn on the forehand that we're trying to do. We did one step, which is good. We don't usually do lateral work under saddle. And this keeps him motivated and excited to actually do riding, because if riding didn't have any kind of extrinsic motivators, and all of groundwork had all of the extrinsic motivators, he'd be like, I don't know about this riding stuff. It's harder and I don't get food, so I don't want to do it. So that it can result in that. So, but yeah, I have stopped riding with a whip because it seems either be it it's extra distraction for him that he doesn't like, or it's the way my wrist is moving because he is very sensitive. He just does not want to move forward when I have the whip in my hand. But the minute I take the whip out, he's like, all right, I'm all for it, let's go. So I'm thinking he is not a whip kind of horse. I may reintroduce it later if I need some help with the leg, but you know what? With the way things are going right now, I don't think I would really need to use a whip for riding. He's just not that kind of horse. He's a highly motivated, high energy horse. Trying to get him to calm down a little bit, and there he goes for the grass. So, there he goes. But I am not necessarily following contact. You can see how the reins go slack and then they go in contact again, then they go slack with his neck movement. I am just keeping my hands the way they are and allowing him to move through that. The only reason why I have my reins shorter is because he is tempted to go and try to find some grass. If we were in a dirt arena, I would probably just have completely slack reins and let him do what he needs to, but but anyway, we do what we can with what we got. I would go into the round pen and I would have no contact on the reins. And a nice square halt. That's your groundwork happening. See, green horse, square halt. Doesn't even need to work on it. Groundwork in action here. But with any horse, I don't want to just ride him like any other horse. I don't ride any horse like any other horse. Every horse is a little bit different. And since we've only ridden like 17 times, I know that sounds like a lot, but for a green horse, it really isn't. I'm still trying to figure out how he moves and who he is and how he feels underneath of me. He is very, I don't want to say collected, but he moves in a good fashion where he will actually lift you up out of your seat during his transition. He's got a lot of impulsion and oomph that you may not see from here, but if you were riding him, you would feel it. But the impulsion and oomph also gives him the ability to carry me properly. Many horses without that, they would be choppy and short, and they just wouldn't feel very powerful. And sometimes that's what a lot of people like, because they're afraid of all the power behind, the whole horse, not just kind of horse. I'm interested in the whole horse, and I'm trying to take slow but determined steps to make sure that we do things right, and it doesn't get intimidating or dangerous. But today he wants to move forward, he wants to go. Go. It would have been a very wonderful day to just do a bunch of different trots and get used to feeling his trot. I think the next time I ride, that's what I'm going to do, is just feel his trot for the entire session. I'm just like, you do your thing, you trot for as long as you want, and I will fix my position to make sure that I get the muscle memory I need to be able to ride his specific trot. just because his head is up in the air does not mean he's completely hollow. I assure you, this entire ride, he was lifted. He's a funny guy. And notice, now that he's getting a little bit more, I don't want to say warmed up because this is coming towards the end, kind of more used to it. He's less nervous, he's less demanding on the treat end of the spectrum. For me, it's getting easier to ride him. He's a little looser, less tense. So this is all good stuff. And if he was 10, this would have been the start of a good ride, because that, you know, it would have been a nice little 20-minute warm-up. But yeah, here I'm pitched forward a little bit. Oh no, I corrected here. But he is 5.5, well, a little over 5.5, and we're not overdoing it. So the minute he starts to really relax and feel really good, that is when we end our ride. We had gotten our objectives done for the educational portion of this video. It was in between a bunch of other stuff. But see, he's riding so much better now. His walk is nice and open. You can see his neck is kind of coming down and forward, reaching. At this point, he was starting to feel really good.